All right. You see the audio working? It looks like it's all good. I think I'm live. I gotta close this. Leave my session open. Eric, go ahead and leave that Screen Connect session open so you can stop the stream.
Oh, sure.
Well, just get it ready when I say stop. You don't really have to leave it open. I think I'm lined up. Welcome to the last Vlog Thursday of 2018. Because the next one I do is going to be next year. So I didn't want to do a clickbait title, but I couldn't resist not calling it the last Vlog Thursday. So, you know, it's entertaining to me. And this took some setting up. So there's actually a wonderful 3D printer behind me. And crap. I just realized you guys can see... Well, you know, it doesn't matter. I didn't turn on clean HDMI, so I think you can probably see everything related to the thing. I wonder if I can turn it on real quick. Let me go flip that switch real quick, because it actually bothers me a little bit that you can see. But this is what I see on the camera when I'm setting things up. You can see that I have 2 ND stops. If the fan's running, we're locked in at 50 millimeters on the lens. So... Yeah, do we just leave it with the camera settings, or do I get up and press the button that makes the camera settings go away? Yeah, camera settings are awesome. 1 second, I'm gonna do it, because I don't know, it's bothering me for some reason. 1 second here. Let's see if that fixed it. Oh, look, the camera settings are all gone. Cool, I'm back. All right. All right, now we've got just clean HDMI out. Normally, you know, this is some of those things that I almost need. We have a dedicated studio here, but eventually we're going to build another studio so I can just move the camera around. I also have another lens on order. I was really hoping it would arrive today. Wah, wah, it didn't get here. I've got a lot of feedback. A lot of people seem to like when I use the shallow focus lenses. I only have one right now because I sold all my other ones because they weren't as good for doing video. So my new lens is going to be here tomorrow, and it's another, shorter range, so I can do some closer up. Actually the framing stays the same, but the camera's really far away right now. I had to walk over to the camera, and so anyways, I won't go geek out about there. But yes, you can hear the 3D printer. It's in the middle of printing stuff. We thought it'd be done by Vlog Thursday. We waited. It's just not done yet. We couldn't use the table, so I decided to change it up a bit and, you know, have this little intimate setting with a fireplace behind me, and, you know, kick off Vlog Thursday about that. What are we printing? Oh, Zelda and half a dog. Let me go grab my half a dog. So, we did print so far, and we're actually going to do a review of the printer. So they give you a sample of a dog, and this is half a dog because they only give you enough to do half the demo that it comes with and ships with. So we only got half a dog here, but we do have this cool Zelda thing, which is kind of neat. So that's cool. We're gonna 3D print stuff, and we have some ideas for some giveaways where we're gonna print some things for people and fun stuff like that. Cause we're coming up on 50,000 people. I'm on the edge of 45,000 right now, so it's yeah. So it's gonna be pretty cool when we have all that. So definitely neat. Oh yeah, Eric's right. It's a holder for a Google Home Mini. That's actually what's printing at the moment. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, so we want to make some custom little things and give them away. And I'm going to see about, you know, even some of the international shipping, because I realize my audience is much, much bigger than just the U.S. audience. So we're going to find out about that, and we might make some custom little Lawrence System logoed things and ideas we have. So we're learning how to 3D print. It was not really it was a weird gift idea. So my wife buys me things, and, you know, I don't want stuff, but I didn't really want a 3D printer. She decided to buy one for Christmas for me, and so now I have a 3D printer, and we're going to use it, so because I have it. So that's a thing. Anyways, the forums, that's been exciting. Any of you who didn't notice, I posted a video about the forums. There's an updated link in all of the videos. For those of you wondering, or if you're into YouTube at all, I use the TubeBuddy plugin. The TubeBuddy plugin allows me to massively go backwards and change the descriptions of all the videos. Or not really descriptions, but it can do a search and replace. I had that forums link to Facebook, and I did an explainer video on why I chose Discourse, and then I used the TubeBuddy plugin to swap out all the Facebook forum links. I tried Facebook forums. I just didn't like being on their platform, but it was one of those things I wasn't sure about how to set the forums up or how I wanted to approach it. And I'm really happy with the Discourse. In only 1 day of interaction, a lot of people have signed up. I liked the challenge of getting it set up. Not that it was a big challenge, but it was kind of neat learning how it worked. It's a very interesting piece of software. I understand once you really start using it, it's extensive. It's still a learning curve. And as soon as I made my staff admins, they immediately found my typos and mistakes and things like company name here was still left in. I'm surprised none of you called me out on that. So we're going through and fixing and detailing it out. So there's always that learning curve of doing it. That was not that I feared that part, but it was just something I knew I had to get done. So yeah, so it's slowly but surely is how we're getting all that done for the forums. Would you use Ubiquiti G3 camera outside in northern Minnesota winter weather? I don't know what the minimum temperature that UniFi survives in. I'm sure you can Google and look it up. That is obviously once you get to some of the colder than Michigan states, and granted, we do have sub-zero weather. We have plenty of Ubiquitis that are on poles, so they're not even ambiently being heated by the building, that seem to survive the Michigan winters perfectly fine. But I don't know. Minnesota, I've heard, gets really cold, so I would have to double check their spec to make sure it's capable of doing it without being in a heated encasement. At some point, you have to put, you can buy enclosures to put really any camera in that have a small heating element just to keep it, above 0 degrees. So that's definitely something to think about. Oh, so what do we get here? You need a wife like that. Have my wife. Don't tell her I said that. She'll buy stuff. Someone said I use them in Finland. I heard it gets cold in Finland, so definitely a thing. Happy holidays. Yes, it's definitely that holiday time. I am more of a bah humbug person. If someone says, are you a happy holidays or Merry Christmas? I'm like, bah humbug? That's right, good enough. I'm not a big fan of holidays in general. They're disruptions to my process of things and stuff like that. The gift thing, I don't mind. I mean, whatever. I mostly like to give out gifts. I don't like receiving gifts because I'm not wealthy, but I also don't want things. And when I want something, I just go buy it. Most of the things I want are, hey, cool, I want a lens, so I go buy a lens. I needed camera gear, so everything has to have a purpose. I'm very minimalistic like that, so I don't really collect any trinkets or things per se. So that's enough of that. So I have to follow up. We installed those UniFis, and that was a fun project. Hi, if you're watching, person who hired us from watching YouTube channel, and also if someone else may be watching, we have another job installing more cameras. I have to do some debriefs on these jobs. I still haven't covered the bowling alley job. Like, I've filmed a few things. I have a lot of stuff sitting on the side. I got to catch up with doing a lot of it. Sometimes the reason I post other videos, like the one I did about Facebook or Discourse today, is because me sitting down, or even the Zabbix video, me sitting down in front of the computer and just recording real quick requires very little editing. Editing is the challenge when you're doing video production. If I take the cameras out in the field, I produce a lot of content, a lot of footage. That takes a lot more time to assemble. So it's not just the filming of it, it's then organizing and put it all together to make a coherent story out of it. Versus when I'm doing a video, I know what I'm going to say. I just hit record and cut out any ums I may have done or pauses for not to waste your time when something was running or compiling or whatever, and the video's done. So those videos actually are why I have so many on my channel. They're really easy for me to do. I mostly do them in one take with very little editing. So from start to finish, if it's a half-hour video, there's usually only 10 minutes or 5 minutes being trimmed out for waiting for something to happen, and then the edit time is like 6 or 7 minutes of editing time, and I upload it. For tutorial videos, are kind of easy for me because I'm giving you tutorials on not something I'm learning. I'm giving you something I have been doing for a long time, so it kind of comes easy. So I've been doing this or that for, you know, firewalls or something like that for years now. So thinking about firewall rules is not something I have to spend a ton of time when I come up with them. So let me scroll up here as I see I missed a few people. Let me pop the chat back out. That's always very helpful. So pop out chat. There we go. Way easier to see. I don't know why I didn't do this at the beginning. So scroll down here so I can see up. What else do we have here? So they operate at negative 20 degrees Celsius, according to this data sheet. Wow. Thanks, Eric. That is incredible. That is way colder. Greetings from the Czech Republic. Hello from way over there. Best practice video for iSCSI using FreeNAS, XCP-ng, and HA. I don't know if there's a true best practice. You really need to build it on, I mean, if you want to know the enterprise way that this is being done, they are using things like, I'm going to throw TrueNAS out there as an example. You do TrueNAS that has a complete failover system, multipass SCSI. I mean, I know I get it. A lot of home users go, I want to build this incredible HA system. No problem. You have to buy some decently expensive hardware to do this. So that's the thing. It's not like there's just best practice. It takes a really heavy machine. Because I did the Zen Server Resource Pool video, and as I mentioned right at the beginning, your weak point still becomes your storage. So then you have to build a very robust storage system, and that's generally, you know, something like a TrueNAS. And now you're talking about starting at around $15,000, $18,000. So you're going to jump way up in price, and that's definitely a thing. A couple things I'm excited about, though, and now that most of our big projects are mostly out of the way, Cadmium Network sent us a bunch of stuff. I'm excited to start. We've already started playing with it. We just haven't done any reviews on it. So hi, if you're watching Cadmium. Thank you very much for all the stuff you sent us. We're excited to get started on it. We've been doing the testing and learning because we're not as familiar with their products. And before I review a product, we want to actually have used it. We did fix and finish some things on the MikroTik. We're going to do maybe a video talking about it, but no, not a tutorial, because we really muddled our way through the MikroTik to solve a problem for a client. And boy, I don't like them. I guess people like them because they're cheap. The MikroTik, however you say it. I think it's just the pricing that people like, because it's certainly not the web interface for it. It's certainly not the configuration manager interface. Like everything else about it's just been a pain. I get it. It has a million features for something that costs sub $100. Awesome, but wow, they won't make those features easy to set up, easy to configure. So they are what they are. Greetings from the Philippines. Awesome. Oh yeah, last SMR with Jay and Phil. Yeah, we're going to be changing things up, all that. So, yeah. Definitely, that's going to be kind of cool. It's funny, I just now see, maybe, because I know there's a lag between me saying something and it happening on here. But yeah, the MikroTik, I seen someone pointing out again. I don't know that they're more featured than Cisco. Cisco are pretty robustly featured, but yeah, the hardware doesn't seem, I don't hear people talking as much about failures on them. They're just complicated and confusing to configure. They just haven't spent a lot of time on UI design and things like that and putting things in a concise place. So they're just, I don't know. I don't like that about them. And if I maybe took the time to learn them, I would love them, but not really. I don't have enough use case for them just because hardware is cheap. And when anything's overly complicated for people, you introduce more margin for error with things like that, and hence the reason MikroTik's had problems is because of that in the past. It had a complicated interface, they're inexpensive, lots of people bought them based on price, then couldn't really figure out how to configure them, and hence we have botnets filled with MikroTik devices. Can you directly blame the company? They offered a secure configuration and someone did something different? Yeah, but they out of the box didn't have a secure configuration. It's how I keep bringing it up with them. So, yeah, I'm not a big fan of them. Do you have a parts list for a storage system? So I'm going to put together probably something like that, because a lot of people have asked me about some of those things. So yeah, it's there's like a lot of recommended buy lists. There's also, if you check Serve the Home, they're a website, servethehome.com, that has a good list of some of the stuff to buy to build your own FreeNAS systems. I ended up buying ours as a used Supermicro server designed for FreeNAS because it came out cheaper than building it. But I'll do both, as I know there's kind of people that want to know what to buy, and I don't mind putting together a couple build lists for things like that. So I'll throw that out there. Would you consider doing a tutorial on VoIP using Incredible PBX? I never heard of Incredible PBX. I don't have time. This is one of those things. I wish I had all the time in the world, and if someone could just throw tons of money at me to just sit and learn things and then deploy them and use them. I almost have to deploy and use them to really learn them, hence Zabbix. I mean, I could read the documentation on Zabbix, but you don't really understand it until you fully deployed it. Well, it took a long time to learn and deploy Zabbix. Now I can do, and I did that first video, and a lot of people have asked already and messaged me, okay, I'll do a few more videos on Zabbix on some specific core processes of it, and like how to add agents to it. Cool. But learning an entirely new PBX system, yeah, that's not probably going to happen at all. We are using free PBX. We are becoming a reseller for Sangoma, and I'm going to be deploying it out in the field, so there will be some free PBX videos where we discuss and talk about free PBX. That's fine, but I'm probably not going to just go learn some one-off PBX system. It just takes too much time to learn some of them, and I have to kind of have a use case, like just to learn it just as a toy and then put it away is not the same as really learning it as we do, like spend time in depth deploying and using and understanding use cases, because I think it makes the tutorials better and more honest. If I gave you a superficial view of something, and the same thing with Academy, I could have just unboxed it and told you what it was, but that's not going to be the same. When we explain it, we want to make sure we have a clear understanding of it so we can share with you how it works, why you should use it, and the use cases for it. And I have a lot more tools that I haven't even touched that we use that I still want to make videos on. So just like going over some more of our software stack, the changes in SolarWinds, I have a whole list of videos I plan to make. Matter of fact, at any given moment, I'm like 30 days out on all the different videos I want to make. So I don't always have time to steer over to another VoIP system. And thank you, Shane Phillips, for a $10 donation. Awesome. I can use the CLI too, but for the MikroTik, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, you can use this CLI for really any firewall, or why bother with the whole interface at all? Why don't you just take the firewall and just completely write all the tables raw from the rip, and you end up like that company over on I gotta find that post because it's gonna be, I'm gonna do like a debrief. It was a good debrief on how a company got hacked. The smart guy who I know CLI, well, he was the only one on a team that did, and he built the ultimate firewall, overlooked one little rule, left something open. No one else could audit this person was kind of the problem they had. So I guess he did it right, and not enough other people knew the CLI because they didn't have time to do it. So they ended up with a firewall with a hole in it to an RDP server, and then combine that with a weak password. They got pwned, and yeah, the rest is a mess. So, I mean, yeah. So, yeah. So MikroTik is good. Have an MTCNA and MCT certification if you're open to it. I can show you around. Yeah. Some things are Latif and Logic, but the CLI is similar to Cisco. We use them in wind farms and offshore. I guess I don't think they're a horrible device, but I just don't have enough use case for them to make them really a worthwhile thing. Free PBX is a fork of Incredible PBX, or vice versa? No, Free PBX has been around really long, so I'm probably going to guess that Incredible PBX is a fork of that. Free PBX has been maintained for a long time by Sangoma, and its base internals are Asterix. Asterix? I don't know however you say it. That's like the base internal, and that has been around for a very long time, so that's really cool. What is your recommended syslog server? I don't know. I've played around with like some of the rsyslog and just building syslog servers and collecting logs. I haven't really decided. I don't have a good answer for that. Mostly we're sending the syslogs for our business clients to SolarWinds because their system for collecting logs and using the RMM tool. I've been trying to find a good open source one, and no one has a wonderful answer. That does include like Jay and Phil. We've had some of these conversations. We actually joked about starting another side podcast called Before the Show. Problem is sometimes we disclose a lot during there because the mics are off, but there's an entire discussion that goes on sometimes. I mean, we're just a bunch of Linux geeks who go in depth, and because Phil and Jay do things on a larger scale than I do in terms of their day in, day out job is nothing but Linux, they have a lot of insights to things. This is why they're wonderful hosts on the podcast. Methods of site-to-site VPN plans. Digitures. See, for us, for our system, the PBX doesn't matter. We're using pfSense and OpenVPN, and then that's how we bridge it in with my phone. So my phone, when I'm out in the field, operates on our PBX. That could apply to a site-to-site in exactly the same manner. So the site-to-site is really just a methodology of how you want to send the data. It doesn't really matter what PBX you're using, as long as it can handle the transport layer part. Well, away you go. So if you site-to-site VPN and you have correct routing, you can have your PBX going across it just like any other data. It just becomes data across there. So there's not the PBX part is not relevant as long as you have your VPN set up. And there's not really. I guess I can go best practice, make sure you have enough bandwidth, traffic management, so the VPN is prioritized. Because if you're running VoIP across the VPN, make sure there's enough bandwidth to be able to handle it. Make sure that your traffic shaping isn't going to lean towards VoIP. It's got to lean towards VPN if you want the users on there to set up VPN. So think about that when you're setting up traffic rules. What do you want to prioritize, VPN traffic or VoIP traffic? Well, you kind of can't do both. It's just kind of a thought pattern on how that has to go. But we actually have no traffic shaping set up on our pfSense in terms of running the VPN. I just run it, and I never have a call problem. I've been on the phone call for like an hour at a time when I'm out of the office and on 4G, and had long phone conversations that work perfectly fine with no extra settings than what we have set up. Hey, thank you, David Stahl. Awesome for the $15 donation. Awesome. How many employees do we have? 8? I think there's 8 people plus contractors that work here. I have to think about that. I don't think about it a lot, so that sounds about right. Yeah, pfSense just has more options. You're right. The micro ticks they are what they are. What solution do you use for customer tickets? Invoice Ninja. We create invoices and quotes instead of tickets. I've done a video on that. If you look up Invoice Ninja, there's a couple process flow videos, and I show how we do things. I did the flow chart of literally our step-by-step call-in process. And if you look at our About page on our website, you'll see we treat people like customers and not tickets. That is... I know there's an impossibility to my business, and I'll admit it, there comes a point when I may need some type of ticketing system, but the other side of me, I'm trying to avoid it, and the reason why is you become very bureaucratic with ticketing systems, and they burden staff. And you see this constantly where companies become so caught up in their own ticketing systems, their customers hate them, and then we take them over as clients. And we have almost 300 businesses that we do IT for. We have probably 40 of them we're doing managed IT for, and we're doing it without a ticket system. But when you do things very, very well, you just answer the phone, and when people call, you just fix the problems and create a blank invoice for those fixed problems. It becomes very simple to manage. We're not overburdened with it. Matter of fact, the phones aren't blowing up off the hook. We only have really 2 people answering phones and are able to handle the call volume. Occasionally, I have to answer the phone too, because the sales calls come in at the same line rate than all people answer it. So we're able to do quite a good, healthy business here at a good margin without a ticketing system. It's just I'm trying to avoid the bureaucracy more than anything else. There's all kinds of ticketing systems out there, but if you start becoming overly bureaucratic and burdened with your own internal documentation labors, you can end up crippling the company. I've seen this happen over and over again. I have friends that used to work and have quit working at MSPs. They said, yeah, they'd solve a problem in 2 minutes, and it's been 12 minutes just finishing off the ticket back and forth, and the customer aggravation of filling the ticket out, getting it over there. And I get there's a need to track problems, but sometimes people just overcomplicate it. They can mostly email us, and we're fine with that as a solution as well. pfSense is probably still the best open source one. Don't make Tom do math. Yeah, that's right. Thanks, Skip. pfSense is probably still one of my favorite, and probably just really solid, very feature-rich firewalls out there when it comes to open source firewalls. I do like Untangle, and we're deploying Untangle for solutions because I have a lot of people that want filtering, but a lot of people say they want filtering until they realize filtering has a fee attached to it, and that's what Untangle charges for. So they're still open source, but you pay for those streams like, oh, I want to filter all this stuff. Well, that has an expense attached to it. So People sometimes get upset. Internet filtering is really, really hard and getting harder by the day. It's not getting easier to filter sites. When you buy a commercial enterprise firewall, such as Cisco or and their line of products, and you get their filtering package, once again comes with a lot of fees. Those fees are to keep that development and keep that network filtering good. It's the toughest part probably of doing it. So if you have to do some type of filtering, that's a lot of times where expenses come in. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have pfSense, don't use it to its full potential probably, but it's still just a solid firewall for routing and things like that. It's very trustworthy. It's, like I said, back to being open source, so the code is auditable. It just has solid VPN options, and it's a good, it runs great. It's very trouble-free. Yeah, I did get the one about the client visible. That client, I knew it was. It's a pain to try to edit a YouTube video that's already been uploaded. It was a client that I'm not worried about. It's a friend of mine. I let them know. They perfectly are fine with it. We kind of knew before. I've asked some of my clients. I've told them it's not. If I asked some of them if they'll be featured in YouTube videos and things, they don't care. Well, some do, but those ones are never featured in YouTube videos, of course. What functions have you I found automatic actions to fix mundane issues golden? I haven't really had any need for that because most of my issues, if I have an issue, it's server down, HTTP server down, and I guess I could set triggers to do it, but so far none of the problems we have need an action, so I haven't really programmed any actions based on the triggers. Mostly it's been for monitoring and looking at things going on, as opposed to running an action to solve the problem. But most of the problems aren't needing to be solved. We did have a hard drive that was running a little bit low on space. It notified because I had turned on too many logs. That was probably the thing. And it's not something I wanted Zabbix to automate the turning off of logs. I had turned on a logging server and realized, oh yeah, I have that on full logging. It certainly sucked up a lot of hard drive. I thought it was cool that Zabbix noticed it, but it wasn't anything that I needed to automate. So mostly we're using it for monitoring, and because I'm top to bottom, I set our servers up. I'm very conscious of how they're set up and how things are done and log rotations. Other than when I was testing and turned the logging on, we don't really have server problems. It's just kind of a cool monitoring tool. I like playing with it. I like to be able to visualize everything like that. Let's see. On a serious note, thank you for your channel and Pastor Tech. Awesome. Thanks, Silius Hack. I'm starting to switch from Repair Shop and everything. It seems to be better, easier to handle. So it's been a long time since I look at Repair Shopper, but I remember it being very centric around, what do you call it? It was very centric around the computer, not the customer. And I've always, like our previous system that we had written was customer centric, and everything stems out from the customer. So I remember my demo a long time ago of Repair Shopper. I said, boy, I just can't follow how this works. It doesn't make any sense to me, which is why I didn't use it. And I'm so happy we found Invoice Ninja because we've been thrilled with that. We've been working with the dev team there. We've made suggestions and improvements that have been back to the community. And it's nothing, our version of Invoice Ninja is the version anyone can download and run. There is no customizations because if we want something, we want the community to have it too, so it goes upstream. Separating networks, I'm going to do a specific video on separating your IoT networks. That is a upcoming video I've been working on. It takes time because to make it better visual for you, I'm going to be drawing a series of visuals for it. That way we understand what networks are what and kind of how the rules pass back and forth. So that's a little, it's not just an explainer video at that point. It's going to be like an explainer, but I have some, you know, just basic. I'm not great at drawing graphs, but that way I want to make sure people understand the concepts clear, and then I'm going to apply them inside of pfSense to show you how to separate the networks. And then I may make the same video for other devices as well that we use, such as Untangle, because Untangle makes it really easy to do some of those things as well. Let's see. Merry Christmas, what you recommend for a bridge P2P, at least 200 meg connection 300 meters away? So that's going to be a double answer. Right now, I do like the Ubiquiti products, but we've also started playing with the Cadmium products. Cadmium has a device called Bridge in a Box, and you can buy them on Amazon. Go through and click our affiliate link if you can. That'd be appreciative. But yes, you can do that, and so we're going to be reviewing both. I don't know which one's better. They both are really good products. That sometimes can be a challenge because you're just splitting opinions about which product. Like if you line up some of the products, they're very much, it comes that, you know, the Chevy Ford argument. if there's a lot of things on there, sometimes it just becomes opinion about the company. They seem to be really close rivals. I can't speak to every little detail yet, as we haven't done a thorough review. But the Ubiquiti ones are really good for site to site. But the Cademy ones, my friends that are using them, Chris from Crosstalk highly recommends and has deployed way more of them than me. Loves them. Says he's been really happy with them as a product. Nano beams are really good. Too. I mean, like, so we've deployed and have in the field, and I'm going to do a follow-up video on my bridge project from like 2 years ago. That's still alive. That still works. It's now survived 2 Michigan winters, and it's going into its 3rd winter now. It works great. We have a lot of these deployed. Matter of fact, we're updating a client that we have a series. It's a big, what do you call that? Like an aggregate field, stone supply company. They have this huge, like, gravel haulers running around a quarry and a big rock crusher and cool stuff. And they have a series of site-to-site cameras there that are all running Ubiquiti cameras, and they're running site-to-site because the area is so big that they have multiple buildings across the 2 acres, and those have survived the last few winters. Matter of fact, and we're adding more onto that job as well tomorrow. And if I have a chance, maybe I'll stop out there and follow up. So we've not just used them. This is my review of them. Is that have been deployed for a few years in the field and still work. I'm really happy with the nano beams. Thank you. Let's see. I've seen one somewhere. Abdrauf. I'm sorry, I'm bad with names. Thank you. So, how do I diagnose a Cat6 cable not getting 1 gig speed? I'm sure the length of the cable is up to 50 meters, but I don't know what else affected here to use. It's just not connecting at 1 gig. Have you tried different network cards? Have you tried a different network interface to make sure it's not the card itself? Generally, 1 gig speeds are easy, even on Cat 5. There's generally not a problem there at all. So I guess also, what are you doing for the speed test? Make sure that's being done correctly. So if you have a few details you can throw in there. Some cables are getting, I'm following the thread here now. So I'm pretty sure it's the cable, because some cables getting 1 gig, others not. I guess I need to better understand your testing methods. Matter of fact, that's a good forum post. Post it in the networking side of the forum, kind of explain what you tried and whatnot. And that's one of the reasons I have the forum, so we can have some crowd thinking going on, because a lot of smart people have joined the forums, and then I'm going to help participate too and answer some questions. So is my staff, because a lot of people just have a question and they don't necessarily, just like little questions like this. This is what the forums are for. I want to help keep the enthusiasm people have for technology, throw some things in there like, hey, just try this or use this. Yeah, and related to cables, we have a few things I never got to review before Christmas. More cables and crimpers, and we built a wall. We're going to show you how we do our drops and things like that. So we have some more tutorials on the cabling and wiring and crimping side coming. It's just we got caught up with projects, and projects are what pay the bills here. YouTube's fun, but YouTube doesn't pay what those projects pay to install things like 300 UniFi devices. So we have to always shuffle those priorities. Business is just a resource management game in real time, all the time. How much money do I have in a bank? Can we make the payroll? Can we buy another thing that will help grow the business? You know, it's just resource management. It's like any other game you've played that you play like that. Let's see. Following down here. Bar Humbug from Australia. Hey, the place down under. Thanks for your great pieces. You really help business move into firewalls after evaluating a variety of appliances. Awesome. As your PBX guys, we are now using GrandStream. It's amazing how the firewalls don't support OpenVPN. Would you consider making a pfSense checklist to ensure quality deployment? Yeah, just, you know, maybe I should just do a video on, and I've been dragging my butt about it. Mark Furman's video on traffic shaping is outstanding. I've referenced it a couple times. Maybe I'll make a video on how to do traffic shaping in there, but to better understand how traffic shaping works, Mark Furman took the time to do these really great animations and understand what the numbers mean with really cool visuals. Matter of fact, I thought about reaching out or something. Who did his animations? Did he do them? Because I thought about, at some point, having someone I pay to animate and do the visuals to some of the things I talk about and put these concepts together, because that might be kind of fun. Of course, that ups the production quite a bit, but I think it's worth it, because I think they're really good learning tools. Are you quitting with the vlogs? Wondering the reason why? Oh, this is the last vlog. I see Steve Steinbreaker. This is just the last vlog. of 2018. We'll do another one next year. So that's hence the title. So yeah, we're not really quitting the vlogs. This is still my every Thursday thing. Let's see what else we got. Hi from Denmark. Awesome. Beat me to it. All right. Let's see. Drag down here a little bit. Hi. Oh, hey, my son is in here. Hi, Marcus. Yes, I'll get your pizza. I know this from my son. He wants to know when the vlog Thursday is over because Dad brings home pizza. Let's see. What do we got here? I'm trying to build a small IDS based on a Raspberry Pi. Can you explain how to set up my Raspberry Pi as a duplicate gateway? No. On Raspberries and IDS is probably not going to work. You need a lot of horsepower to be an IDS, a good one at least. So the way you would do it, just briefly, and a Raspberry Pi is probably not the best solution for it, but you do port mirroring. So you don't set up it as a gateway mirror on the device, you set up a port mirror on your switch. So manage switch, you mirror a port, that way all the data goes somewhere else, and that somewhere else is your IDS machine. They have different IDS tools out there. Look at the Security Onion and things like that. There's a few of them out there, but it's gonna take some horsepower because processing packets at any rate of speed, it's just, that's where you'll watch the CPU get pinned because taking apart packets is difficult. IDS is tricky, and you're taking apart TCP streams and reassembling them and trying to apply them against known threats and see if they match. Not an easy task. And the other problem when you do that, it has to have some active communication to tell the firewall to block it, which is why it's nice when it's integrated directly with the firewall, such as pfSense or Untangle, because then it can say, I found the threat and I want to stop that threat. Downside is, going to get a lot of false positives. The snort feed's good, but depending on how cautious you set it, yeah. I probably should do an updated video. I have a good video on Suricata that I break down how to adjust that. They've been some updates since then. They've made it a little bit easier to adjust. But yeah, if you play with it, you're going to get a lot of false positives, so you have to kind of tune it. You have to kind of watch it. And there's a limited amount of things it can do. It's also not a magic solution because so much data is encrypted. It just can't go through and see what that data is coming across. So it's also not a very much an end-all. It's just one more layer of protection, but it's by far not the best protection. Trying to get my IPTV to get through my new UniFi router. I don't know what's not working. Lars, you'd have to give me a better explainer of what's not working on there. Yeah, create a mirror span, a port on a switch. I see someone commenting on there. What is your best smartphone of 2018? Pixel 2 XL, same one it was last year when it came out. I still have the same phone. I like this phone. It works great. Yeah, if your router doesn't support mirroring, you're going to need another one. Yes, his son said pizza. Thank you, Alan Roach. Roush. Anyways, I'm horrible with names. Thanks for everything this year. Gotta get some bullet for you and you guys. Yes, and maybe a couple airline bottles. Thanks again for all from Texas. I believe you're referring to Bullet Rye whiskey. Oh, I love that stuff. That is really good. So real happy with that. Awesome. Thank you. Just stopped by to say a vast amount of information shared. Thank you very much, Sheridan. Switch to 6. Security Onion kept breaking everything. Yeah, there's so many. It's hard doing the security monitoring for stuff. It's not easy. It's always going to be a cat and mouse game challenge. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be buying a large pizza. So definitely a large pizza for my son on the way. That kid can pack away a large pizza. He's small, but boy, he likes pizza. He likes pizza. He likes the same one I like. Thin crust. Oh, that's just wonderful. Let's see. How long have I been doing this for? Live stream. We got to see at the time. Oh, it doesn't tell me. Oh, 38 minutes. Okay. I'll do it for a little while longer. Then I got to get pizza. He's not going to starve. Pineapple. I like pineapple on pizza, so I'm fine with it. My son does not. He is only pepperoni and cheese, and that is all. There's nothing else that he wants. It's on there, so yeah. Thank you, Sudesh, who loves my videos. Awesome. as I mentioned before, because there's more of you here now, check out our forums, and I've left the link below, the forums at lawrencesystems.com. I'm encouraging a lot of people, because I love all the conversations we have here, but I don't want them to die here, and they sometimes get lost in the mess that is the YouTube commenting system. So join our forums, where you can also just kind of engage with a lot of other people over time, and I want to keep that really up to date and going. My staff is helping me maintain it, which is awesome, because I couldn't do it alone. And eventually, maybe we'll need more moderators. Now for chat, I brought up using Matrix and Riot. I've slowly been playing with them. I'm not super familiar with how it all works, but I find it to be an interesting platform. So that's another thing we're going to be doing probably, is people have been asking me for chat. I don't want to just get Discord. My other problem is, and I'm just being very honest about this with the chat, cool if all you want to talk, but you won't find me in there all the time. My own procedure, and I've kind of talked about like a day in the life of Tom, or what does Tom do. A lot of that is more Tom like wakes up and replies when I set blocks of time to get things done. I reply to like a whole lot of emails at once, or I'll go through and reply to a lot of forum posts at once. Being active in a chat room is a lot harder for me because sometimes I have a block or an hour that a client has bought that I'm taking care of that, or I'm focusing on a specific project that I have to work on between this time and that time. I have a programming project that's going to be happening tomorrow, and then I have a bid to go do. And then when I come back from those things, I'll look at my messages and I'll reply to all those, and I type fairly fast, so I'll reply to a lot of messages and a lot of stuff at one sitting. So chat rooms are a little bit harder for me to do, so it's I'll keep it if you guys really want it. Just kind of the attitude on the chat room. How good is the AR710 server? They're old, they're dated, but they still work. We still have a couple running and chugging away. We don't really seem to have a problem with them. They get the job done. They're really a great buy for the amount of power. Servers in general, we bought our FreeNAS server. It's just chugging away, man. I bought it from Unix Surplus, and for including shipping under $700, 16 terabytes of usable storage with SAS drives, with LSI controllers, with more drives to be put in there, dual redundant power supplies, under $700. I can't build it for that. Dual processor, lots of RAM. I'm going to do some talks about some of those things about buying it. So yeah, definitely a thing. What are you 3D printing? So for those of you that weren't here at the beginning, we did 3D print this little cool Zelda thing. If I can catch it in the light right. That's kind of neat looking. So there's the Zelda thing. And the demo file was a dog, but they don't give you enough demo of the filament to finish a dog. So I have half a dog and a Zelda thing that Steve printed. Right now it's printing a holder for a Google Home Mini that we're going to be playing with.
Can I look at it?
Go ahead. I don't care. Steve is mesmerized by the printer. He just likes to sit and watch it. It's like relaxation for him. Let's see. How many unread do I have a lot of unread messages. But through the day, I stop and reply to emails. I hammer out a lot of emails. I remember one day I counted, I think I sent like, 70 emails or something like that. So that's just like a common thing for me. I'm always replying. Email is this is how I communicate with a lot of my clients, how I coordinate projects, and things like that. I'm very good because I'll create filters and organize things and archive, and I'm also an inbox zero person where I keep everything down. I still have a few unreplied ones because my life has been hectic with all the things going on, with the big hole in my house for the pit. It's getting filled in, and that fiasco is on the curve down in terms of project and on the curve up in terms of money, which I got to still sort out. So yes, I got the new FreeNAS update. My plan is to install it on Saturday. So and I'll do a video about it. That got I seen it. I just didn't have time to update it. So on my to-do list, I'm excited about that. Let's see. Yeah, the R710, someone says still looks good. It's not bad. What are you currently using? Thanks for your videos. Oh, what laptop? This is a IBM X250. I've had this for a few years. It works great. Unify AP, not seeing VLAN using EdgeRouter Lite. I don't know what you did wrong there, but yeah, that can be an issue. These probably don't have the VLANs aligned properly. Different numbers or something like that. Exponology, no need for it, not a need. I do have Synology NAS we're going to be reviewing really soon here. We've been playing with that. What is the theme? What is the name of Lawrence Systems Orange? Does it have one? I don't call it. I don't know. Whatever the hex code is for it. You can look on our site for it. Just use the hex color finder for it. We've made sure the color. I didn't make sure. Kyle makes sure all the colors match. What is the difference between free and paid rules in Snort and Suricata? Well, Suricata uses Snort rules, so the answer is the same. If you want the more up-to-date emerging threats rule, you can subscribe to the updated feeds from Snort. So you get an OINT code, you can buy feeds so you have the more real-time data. Once again, that's what you're paying for when you have these, is that real-time monitoring, real-time data side of it. So yeah, that's definitely an issue there in terms of if you want it. That is cool. Everything's open source, but building those rules, having those people who monitor the threats at the NOC teams, that's hard work. They have a fee. Those people don't work for free, so that's definitely an issue. Yeah, sorry about the dog there. What's your take on a Ryzen-based pfSense builds? Probably overkill. Never tested it. Should work fine. I can't say this, as I think Ryzen supported in FreeBSD, so it should be supported fine in pfSense. I don't know for sure, though. I don't think it's an issue. What are you looking to do in 2019 for business? I don't know. Get bigger. I don't plan in great detail. We're going to do more of what we do at bigger scale. A lot more YouTube videos. We've been having a lot of fun with it. YouTube has allowed us to grow to a bigger international footprint because a lot of people hire us all over the place in different countries, more than just the U.S. to do jobs. We plan to very much focus and expand on that aspect of the business. We really like it. We like it because we don't have to drive places too. We get to leverage things and work remotely and meet interesting people, and we get to do it from our office, which makes us really happy. So we're going to do more of that. So more videos and the forums and everything else. So more online presence. Does not use VLAN tagging. I found that I can watch my TV box packets. This might be a fun breakdown in the forums, Lars, to post in there and find out about things like that. Running internet between buildings, fiber, Ethernet, P2P. What about it? We do that. I don't know what the question is. New Year's resolutions or memorable moments. I'm going to try to do some memorable moments from 2018. Maybe, I don't know. Well, we did one last year. Me and my wife did like a year-end video, so we'll probably do that again and just talk about 2018, and maybe I'll run down some of the business stuff on there, do a recap on it. But yeah, we had all kinds of fun things that happened. We were removing MikroTik. That thumbnail is of all the MikroTiks we removed. Sorry. They've been replaced with Unifies. So that picture's from all that. That picture is something I'm going to do a debrief. That was a fun project that closed out 2018. You're right. Hey, Eric, thanks for pointing out the hex. Yeah, Steve's Yule log is that he can just watch that 3D printer for hours. It's every time he gets done with whatever he's working on, you find him right there watching a 3D printer. That's it's the closest he's been to happy in a long time, he said. True happiness is watching a 3D printer. Let's see.
So well machined it makes me feel good.
Yes. I'm having a problem viewing SMB shares for my FreeNAS box on Windows 10. They work perfectly on Linux. I don't know why they wouldn't work on Windows 10. Steve, why wouldn't someone be able to see a Windows share on FreeNAS? They can see it from Linux, but can't see it on Windows 10. I've never had that happen.
Sometimes it's really dumb. Windows wants authentication, even if it's an open share. And I don't know why it does that.
Yes, Windows does sometimes want a password, so I guess that's it. So if you're doing an open share, that might be a problem. If you're doing an open share and they want a password on there and you're not, it's failing to connect because you're not pushing a password. Thanks, Windows 10, for requiring that.
Yeah, you can sometimes enter just anything and it'll work.
Yeah, you can put.
Turn off the password protected share.
You may have to take.
Off. I actually. So I had. Well, hold on. Here, I'll move closer so they can hear me. So I actually had an open share once on a Windows machine at home that acted as a file server. What?
There you are. Okay.
Hi. Here. So I had an open share on a server at home, and this was an oddity. 2 machines, both Windows 7 Pro 64-bit. One could just connect to it without credentials. The other, I would get a credentials prompt every time, but I could enter just anything. Like, I couldn't leave it blank, but if I entered like A, they would just connect. And I have no idea why. One machine would work, one wouldn't.
So hopefully that helps. Play around with it.
Yep.
If you have a open share, it may be part of the problem. Thank you, Simon, for sending us whatever SEK. I don't know what. Oh, Swedish. That's Swedish denomination. I get it now. Greetings from Sweden. Have you tested Bear OS? I'm sitting and testing it now. I have not tested Bear OS. I don't know much about that. Someone says, Tom, go back to when you hired your first tech. How did you introduce them to your clients? You're overthinking it. How's that? I said, you go fix that. And then I didn't tell the client. I'm like, hey, so-and-so's going out there and they're going to go fix it. It's never been something I put a lot of thought into.
Back off.
What?
You sent me. I looked like you, and you just didn't say a word.
Well, you weren't my first tech.
Oh.
Graham was. Well, in my other store.
Oh, yeah, I figured the other store.
Yeah.
I didn't know you would have counted the other store.
Yeah, so if I count my other store, I sent, what was his name? Not Graham, the other one. Anyways, I had a few other techs. Technically, since when we opened our PC pickup location, Steve and Graham were both the first techs for that. But I just kind of sent people there. I didn't really overthink it. So that's one of those things, like, people want their computers fixed. And if they trust you, I mean, there's going to be some client that says, well, I really want you to come out. Oh, no problem. I'll be there tomorrow or the next day. Or I can send this tech today. So it's not hard to get around. It really wasn't some big challenge. It's not something I've had to put a ton of thought into, and it's not really been an issue. I still get people who want me to go there. I don't go on site all the time. I generally do send my staff out there because I try to focus on some of the business stuff and some of the other tech things, and a lot on the YouTube because that's kind of our growth model. So you're kind of that working on the business thing versus working in the business. That helps you grow the company a lot more. Let's see. Is there a video explaining why you replaced MikroTik with Unify? Wasn't our equipment. It was other IT company who was doing a bad job, and we replaced it all because we know Unify. They just happen to be using MikroTik there, but the company wanted their equipment back, so there was no point in us using any of the MikroTik. Now, they wanted their main switches back, but they didn't want their little MikroTiks back. That's the MikroTik project we inherited that we had to reprogram it, and this was a hostile IT takeover. And I say that because the company did not give us any documentation, did not help us in any way, and wants all their equipment back, and we're unpleasant about they're not happy with losing this client. They were really happy with what they were charging the client, but that's over now. That party ended. Yeah, so when you end someone's cash cow, they sometimes get upset, and they were really cashing in on this, so that's the thing. SME version 1 support, that's FreeNAS has that deprecated, and Windows 10 doesn't like that old version anyways. So probably not it. Make sure network discovery is on. Yeah, no, if you're direct IP, that wouldn't cause the problem. Mostly what Steve said is awesome. So 200 sec. I'm learning currency conversion. This is a new thing Tom gets to learn. Thank you very much, Sec, for that. I would look at Bear OS. Maybe I'll Google it when you're done. Are you doing a full MSP model or you do break fix? We do both. So I'm doing some MSP videos. Those are definitely coming. And I'm going to talk about our MSP process, how we're doing things, and the market we're carving out for that. But I'm going to comment at the beginning of that video, and I'll tell you guys right now, we're not doing the hardware leasing model. We're getting very, very few people have ever asked us for it at all. And mostly we've been taking over clients because they get away from that model. I get it. There's a reason for that model. But from some of these business owners that are experiencing that, which is one of these hostile takeovers, it was oh yeah, full service managed IT, but you own none of the hardware. And they got a calculator and they said, if we bought all of the hardware ourselves, it's only going to take us 3 months to buy all of it back. wow, you guys charge us quite a bit. And that's part of the problem with it. I mean, if you do that kind of managed thing, you have to put a big markup on all of it, and it can really get expensive. And some companies go, wow, my IT budget, yeah, that seems a little out of scope for my industry. So we don't really get into that business model. We just stay with the more basic MSP business model of providing services in exchange for keeping all their computers secure. And I'm going to break it all down in a little bit more detail. But we still do break fix. I don't see a reason why I shouldn't do break fix. Those clients are hopeful. I look at the break fix clients as people who will potentially become on the MSP side. We've converted quite a few of them so far. Slowly but surely, we're converting more of them all the time. So it's great to have both as a business model. And we do have some clients that just one-off hire us to do jobs. Why not do them? You know, I don't mind those. We just made quite a bit doing a dental office, doing all the transfers, doing it all up, and they didn't want the MSP at the end. That's fine. We did well with that job. The margin was reasonable. The client's really happy, and everybody walked away smiling. And if they have an emergency that's unmanaged, they pay an unmanaged rate. It's as simple as that. They want to roll the gamble. Why not take their money? Why let some other person do it? And what's happened with some of these clients, they were like that for 2 years, and then they switched to the MSP because they had a change of heart, or they just looked at the bills and go, yeah, I guess we do kind of spend a lot. We would get a better rate if we were on MSP, and boom, they're an MSP client. Let's see. If you have a problem with Windows, use Linux. Simple. Yeah, I go with that. Can you configure 2 Wi-Fi networks using a single dual band wireless adapter 2.4 on pfSense? I don't really set up wireless on the pfSense. It does support a few of them, but I don't really do that. So, yeah, I'm not. Yeah. So that's not really. I usually recommend like a separate access point, not doing it in pfSense. I know it's supported. There's a couple cards you can get for pfSense to do it, but I don't really mess much with it. I don't have a lot of insight into it. Cool. Wawa1211 starting an MSP podcast. May contact you. Sure. Lenovo XPad 250. Yep. Yeah, this post in the forums. Maybe we can help out on some of the. If someone can help out with some of the SMB problems you're having with Windows and things like that. But try putting a password on there and, you know, walk through what you did do and what checkboxes you did. And this is one of the things where the forums have an advantage over the YouTube comments, especially because you can pull some screenshots and we can look at the settings and go, oh yeah, this or that. Screenshots are so helpful when you're trying to figure these things out, because sometimes you have a typo, a unchecked box somewhere, and it's so simple for me to screenshot and say, check this box. You'll see me post screenshots all the time in other places, and I put a little green arrow and I'm like, that box, check that little box, and it magically fixes all this problem. So definitely an issue there. But I'll break down further some of the business details. I'm going to do maybe some videos about different ways my company, our income streams. I'm not going to disclose every little dollar we make, but just talking in general of how our business works. I broke down on like our corporate structure. I have a video because someone asked me about that through email, and I emailed them back. It's like, did a whole video on this, because you're like, well, I'm not really a competitor, so I'm worried about, you know, don't worry about me being a competition. I'm like, I'm not worried. I did an entire video on our business model, our business structure, and how we do things. I don't worry. I have technical friends that have competing businesses, and I share whatever. I'm not worried. Execution is everything. Ideas are cheap. That's how this business works. Tons of people are MSP. We're taking over from some of them. Why? Because despite them having a cool website that says they do all the same things we do in pretty words and all this, the reality, the customer experience was they hated them. They're like, this company doesn't return calls. We've been taking over a series of dental offices from another MSP because they're just bad. They're like, everything's open. This is what the client said. Open a ticket. Bug them about the ticket. Tell them they won't even talk to us on the phone until we've got a ticket number assigned to us. Like, they've made it difficult to get a hold of them. They had an emergency. Their server was down, and they didn't want to take the call until they got online and opened a ticket. They just decided to call us, and they're like, oh my gosh, you guys are so much easier to deal with. We call you, you answer the phone, you take care of things, and it's all done, and everybody's happy. I'm like, yeah, just way easier. Oh, man. Well, what else we got in here? Yeah, I meet some business owners that are really, really closed like that. Like, oh no, everything we do is secret. I can't tell you what software is. really? I'm like, we use SolarWinds. You know, and if you're in the MSP space, you either the big guys out there, you have the ConnectWise places, and you have the SolarWinds. They're the two big ones out there. I know there's Kaseya, and there's a handful of other ones that also have some market share. But yeah, the software in our industry, the tool stack is not the most relevant thing about there. They're both, you can have your complaints about any one of the tool sets, but they kind of do the same thing. They do it well. And I watch some people who just hop back and forth between. I'm like, you're looking for the magic bullet to make your everything work perfect. It doesn't matter what tool you use, you have to put some time into it. I brought that up with Zabbix. Someone, I said, look, here's a comparison to Nagios. Nagios is equally long, complicated, a lot to set up, a lot to learn. There's a learning curve for either one of them. So they both are going to have their faults. It's hard to sit down and learn top to bottom both of them to make everything happen. So you got to pick one, and you got to put the time in. You got to do some RTFM and learn it. And a lot of people don't want to put the effort in. So yeah, it is getting late for pizza. Is it hard with their dental software, or was that an issue? No, the dental software was actually really easy. Once you figure out where the buttons are, the configuration is a little weird on it. When you figure it out, this is how our process works. We figure it out. We take some screenshots. We build a customer profile. We put it in a wiki. This is how the software works. This is the settings you change to make the software work. Done. What? Ooh.
One Google Home Mini holder.
One Google Home Mini holder. That's cool. Neat. So, I like it.
I'll be back.
Yeah.
We don't still have one here, do we?
That's
No,
cool. Okay.
you took yours home, didn't
I
you?
did. Mine's back at home.
That's what I thought.
Yep.
Wanted
So,
to test it.
anyways, 3D printer's done. Yeah. But anyways, I'll leave you guys with this. There's no secrets to business. Anyone who, and I get this email occasionally in my contact form, you left out a secret or something, or you didn't tell me the whole thing of how you started a business. I'm like, you're overthinking it. There's not secrets. The secret is it's hard work. It takes people, how'd you get these clients? Knocking on doors, going to events, putting in 80 hours a week, doing all this. There's not a secret. You're not looking for a secret. You're looking for a shortcut. You thought someone just didn't tell you something. Business is hard. It's not, there's a lot of work that's put in it. I find it very rewarding, but you have to have the mindset to do it. You have to have the mindset that you want to get into this, that you want to do this. You have to be very motivated and self-driven. So my business lecturing I've done and talked at businesses, I've spoke at University of Michigan MBA classes. When I talk about entrepreneurship or I speak on these topics, it's hard work. When you say I'm looking for a secret, you're not looking for a secret, you're looking for a shortcut. I won't lie though, there's a grain of luck, right place, right time, that does fall into business. Nothing I can do about that. Sometimes you just are at the right place, right time. Someone says, hey, you, and that turned into a big client with a lot of money. Or someone just says, you do that wiring thing? I replied and said, yeah. And next thing you know, we're doing a dozen car dealerships. That's, right place, right time. Someone said, do you do it? I said, yes. And I was there, and other people couldn't handle the job size, and I was able to handle the scale and scope of those projects. So there's a lot to it. I'm going to quit babbling about all this. Thanks for joining me on our last Vlog Thursday of 2018. And, I maybe do a wrap up. I have a few projects to wrap up tomorrow, some remote sessions, another bid to go do, and it's going to be fun. Lots more videos planned. So my big plans for 2019, more videos. I'm not really a New Year's resolution person. I just set goals and do them, not because of arbitrary dates on calendars. So 2018 was great. I'm hoping, crossing my fingers here, folks, that in 2019, before 2019, that we crossed the 45,000 mark. Let me see where we're at right now, if it tells me in here. I'm curious, but I know we're close. We're really close to that, 45,000. So I'll celebrate that as 44,700 according to my phone. So we're really close, 44,700. Not bad. So awesome. Oh, someone I see up here top, health insurance. We won't get way off topic on that. That's a pain in the butt. So thanks and Happy New Year's. Feel free. There's a business section that we put. We want to encourage business IT related conversations out in the open. That is a section we're building up inside the forums. Please post there your business questions. I'm more than happy to talk about them, things like that. So please reach out to the forums, post the business questions there. And Brett, who is going to be working with us more on some special projects and things like that. He's a business consultant. He's also on the forums and ready to help answer things as well. So yes, there's there's discussion that can be started on some of there and stuff like that. So absolutely, thank you. Now I got to figure out how to turn this off. Hey Eric.
I got you.
Eric's gonna stop the stream. I don't feel like getting up. The computer that runs the streams back there. Eric has remote control of it from his office, and he can hear me yelling. Happy New Year. If I don't see any of you before then, we'll see. I'm actually kind of tired, but I'm going to call in a pizza. Here, I'm going to mess with them on his phone. Okay, Google. Call Pizza Hut in Southgate.
Calling Pizza Hut.
Don't ever